Hello, Beth Chase here, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday with 3W. I hope you all are enjoying this beautiful weather in Seattle and that you are staying safe. Well, Wellness Wednesday is sponsored by 3W Medical, a medical clinic that provides free reproductive health services for women in the Seattle area. Well, with me here today is Taylor Worthen. She's the executive assistant to the leadership team of 3W Medical for Women. Welcome, Taylor.
Thanks for having me, Beth.
It's so good to have you here. I think our topic is going to be of interest to so many out there. I know it is to me. So I understand that you're going to be talking about your experience with the Menstrual Cup.
I am. I'm very excited about this topic.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's, start with what is a menstrual cup?
So a menstrual cup it's very small, can probably fit in the palm of your hand, but it is a medical grade silicone cup that is used to basically hold period blood, and it is replacing things like pads, tampons, some of those traditional things that we use. I know that some of the newer items that have come out there also like Thinx panties, which are period underwear, or there's even the menstrual disc, which is similar to the cup, but they are different. But the menstrual cup can hold like 15 to 20 milliliters of blood, which is quite a bit in comparison to our normal tampons or pads. So yeah, I have been using mine for 3 years, and I really haven't gone back. It's been a great experience for me.
So is the menstrual cup safe?
It is safe. I think that in comparison to some of these other things I had said before, you know, tampons and pads have perfumes or other things in them, plastics, that are really harmful to the body, whereas the menstrual cup, it's just plastic, or it's just that silicone, not plastic. And so there's nothing that is harmful to the body there, which is really awesome. And they've been around for a while. As I was doing some research, they date back into the late 1800s, but they were used a little differently, I guess. I mean, you kind of wore them with a belt, and it was very, the details of it seemed very uncomfortable. They kind of made a comeback in the 1930s where they were then cups, but they were latex. And I think that they didn't catch on very well because there was kind of a mess associated with it, and people were not really interested. And then they later created maybe disposable menstrual cups are going to be, well worth the investment. And they really were reintroduced in the 1980s, where they then became silicone, which is probably favorable since so many people have latex allergies in this day and age. And so they're extremely comfortable. I think that they've even made another comeback within the last 5 years, as we are more of a green culture and eco-friendly culture, and I think that that's a huge draw to people. Mm-hmm.
So can you give me 2 reasons why a woman should consider a menstrual cup?
Absolutely.
At least 2.
Yeah.
I bet you have more.
Oh, I do. I have lots of reasons.
Okay.
So obviously it's cost effective. If you think about, and when I was adding it up, if I thought about the amount of pads and tampons that I was buying every month or even every year, you're spending hundreds, if not 1,000 or thousands of dollars every year to use something that's disposable and you're constantly getting rid of. So that was one reason, is it's really cost effective. Second, it travels light, this menstrual cup. So I've done a lot of traveling. And of course, when you travel, especially overseas, you want to pack light. Well, nothing gets in the way more than having this big bag of just your feminine products. Versus, yes. Like I said, that the cup can fit in the palm of your hand. It's great. So it travels light, especially I like to go backpacking as well. So when you think about carrying out what you're carrying in, I am able to just think about one thing and one thing only.
Well, Taylor, how many menstrual cups does a woman need to have? 1, 2, 3?
I've been with mine for 3 years. I know that these will actually last, they'll last you over a decade. So one cup will last you 10, 11, 12 years.
Wow, I bet the feminine products businesses are not thrilled about it.
Oh, I imagine so. Yeah, it's truly an investment.
Yeah, just like anything else, you kind of follow the money sometimes. And so that's great. How much does it cost? Range?
They can range from anywhere from like $15 and $20 up to like $30 and $40. I think it really depends on brand. There's a couple of brands out there. Diva Cup tends to be one of the bigger brands that's recognized, and those are a bit more on the expensive side. I think that when I was looking on various websites and coming across Amazon, they had some that were cheaper. I've only used my cup, which is the Luna Cup, and like I said, 3 years going on strong. So I have only good things to say about it.
So you would say two sources would be the Luna and the Diva.
Yeah, I also recently saw, and I think for beginners this would be really good, but the Flex Cup, they have kind of like a hook that you can hook your finger around to help pull it out.
Oh.
So that looked good. I saw that for the first time just the other day, and I thought, maybe when I was starting this journey, that could have been nice.
Like easier to figure out how to remove it.
Yeah.
Would you use something like that to implant it?
No. So getting it in and getting it out are probably the hardest parts of this whole experience you're going to have. And there's resources out there to kind of help you. I know that when I was starting, I was using YouTube a lot and, reading up on a lot of forums. So getting it in, you're going to basically do what you can use lubricant and fold it and stick it up there. You'll want to make sure that it is completely sealed so that it's creating that suction, preventing any leakage. And then, wait a number of hours. You can kind of feel when it's getting full.
Really?
It's kind of amazing when you start doing things like this. You're way more in tune with your body, which is I love personally. So I've used mine long enough. I know when it's getting full, and then basically practice those Kegels, ladies, because they're going to come into play here because you're going to use your abs to kind of help push it down, and you're going to go up there and you're going to pull it out. You're going to break that suction and it'll slide right on out. And in all of my research, they will tell you that the key to this whole process is you have to relax. The more that you're stressed and worried about it, your muscles are going to tense up and kind of prevent you from really getting it out. So if you just take a deep breath, relax, know that it is going to come out. It won't get stuck. I can assure you it will slide out.
It's always, getting it in there maybe not too bad, but how are you getting it? So what would you say are the biggest challenges in using a menstrual cup from your experience?
I think that it's not something that we're used to. I mean, tampons have the string, and maybe that's why the Flex Cup could be so wonderful, is because there's a little bit of that hook to get it out. I think that you need to be more in tune with getting in tune with your body. Just like anything, we're always learning how is our body going to respond and react to something. So I think just listening to how things feel, and then, getting it in and out. Of course, that's the hardest part. But like I said, there's so many videos and resources out there to help that it makes you feel like you're not alone in this process.
So you're saying, Taylor, that they could go to YouTube and type in their menstrual cup and get some good visual information. Yeah,
there was one I was even watching earlier today. It was called like Organic Cup, and they have great videos on how to wash your cup, because you need to sanitize it. Just drop it in some boiling water for 5 to 7 minutes and that'll sanitize it.
Wait, how often?
After you are done with your period.
Oh, okay. So you go through the entire period not worrying about having to clean it.
Yeah. You'll want to rinse it out after every time you take it out, but you don't need to go through this deep sanitation. Okay. There are some sanitizing sprays out there. If people would like to use those. I haven't personally, but some people might prefer that. But yes, you go through that, boiling it in some water for 5 to 7 minutes. And then, they go through in this video how to put it in, how to take it out, how to relax, maybe positions that you could use to help the process. So they're very, very detailed. And I think that they also provide a level of comfort of knowing you need to relax. It's going to be okay. And I know it sounds like it's just so much work for for our periods, but our periods are a lot of work, and we just got to make peace with that sometimes.
Taylor, do they out there, the experts, do they encourage or discourage intercourse while using the cup?
I've heard some things, I think with like the flex disc. So their whole claim to fame with that is that you can have sex while using that. I personally don't know how that works, but that is their purpose for having the disc. With the cup, I've heard that you can, but quite frankly, I've never tried that myself. Don't really look forward to doing it. But I have heard that you could. I just am struggling to see how that would work. Personally.
Right. So can you kind of walk us through the steps of using and inserting the cup?
Yeah. So as said before, you're going to want to clean it, and doing that by dropping the cup and fully submerging it in boiling water for 5 to 7 minutes. In order to insert it, again, you have options. Some people don't need lubricant. Some people want some lubricant. Either way is fine. But what you are going to do is you are going to fold the cup in such a way. There's a couple of different folds you can use. I mostly just use the C fold, which is just, you're going to just fold the thing in half. And from there, feel around. I'm hoping that we all know where our vagina is. Stick it up in there. And then you want to put it up in there like a couple of centimeters. You don't want it to be uncomfortable, but you also don't want it to be like so close to your cervix.
Oh, so you don't have to stick it all the way up.
No. This is not going to like be inside the cervix. Thankfully not. No, it should not be there. It's gonna set right outside there. And then you want to run your finger around the rim of the cup to make sure it does create that suction.
How do you do that?
You'll kind of notice that there won't be any dents in the cup, and you can feel that with your finger. And I know it sounds awful, but once you get the process down, it's actually quite simple. But you're just going to want to make sure that you got the suction. And that'll put it in there. And the great thing about the cup is that you can because of the suction and it doesn't have any leakage, you can keep it in there from morning to evening in theory. And I have done that. There's many times when I've kept it in just all day and I don't worry about it. So that's great for me. And then when you are ready to take it out, I think that sitting and squatting is really the best way to naturally have it come out the easiest way. So you're gonna use your abs to kind of push the cup down. And then, you're going to want to break the seal with your fingers, and then you'll just pull it out. And all of the blood will pretty much fall into the toilet, which is great. And then from there, you can, wipe it out with some tissues, or you can rinse it out in a sink or something like that. It really depends on what you're most comfortable with.
So you're saying squat over the toilet?
Yeah, if you can get in as much of a squatting position as possible. If not...
Okay, that makes sense.
It's totally fine, yeah.
How much blood is actually in that cup? I guess can vary per how heavy your period is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so, the cup, there's various sizes, but the average cup will hold 15 milliliters. But the thing is because it is creating that suction area, the cup will overflow, but it will keep the blood just kind of in the body. So in theory, it's just stopping everything from going anywhere. So
that's just coming all the way out.
Yeah.
Did it impact for you at all your cramping, like getting cramps, menstrual cramps?
Because the cup is so flexible, it has prevented cramps for me, which is, of course we still get them because that's just part of this whole process, but it doesn't feel, because my body isn't fighting with a tampon that is so stiff, it's a little bit more comfortable.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never associated cramping as being connected with the tampon. But now that I think about it, it makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a possibility.
The cup is able to hug your muscles a little bit more.
Now, you just were mentioning about the importance of Kegels. Could you talk about what that is?
Yeah. So it's basically your ability, and men can do it too, but to use your abs to, I mean, it's how we're going to push our babies out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to Kegel them out in a sense. So it's using those muscles to kind of push all of the items that are in our vagina and in our cervix out.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
very important to do, actually. I know that Dr. Rutherford recommends to patients all the time that they need to be doing the Kegels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember I've had 4 children, and with my second child, I learned about Kegels and how important it is to strengthen those for childbirth.
Mm-hmm.
And I found this pool a swimming pool that my friend and I, she was also pregnant at the same time as I was, and we would go there, and they had very specific exercises in the pool for the purpose of doing the Kegels. And it made a big difference in that delivery. Mm-hmm. I was super impressed. But yes, Kegels, important no matter what age.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
To build up those muscles. So I know we talked a little bit about cost and the cost effectiveness and the comparison of the cost effectiveness. You've talked about how it really is great for traveling, and I would think for the students out there, university campus, easy to carry around discreetly.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Yeah. So in kind of wrapping this up, this discussion, which thank you again, there's not very many people who would come and talk about their menstrual cup. But I learned a lot from here. But okay, so what is the one thing that you would want the listening audience out there to take away from this discussion?
I think that I would really love for the audience to know that it sounds intimidating. You're learning a brand new process for a period for something that's happening to your body that you already don't like. But what I can assure people is that it will positively affect your period experience. And I think that it's like any good thing that there is a learning curve. But once you get past that, it'll be hard to go back. And I think that it is so wonderful. We've talked about a few things, but it's also wonderfully eco-friendly. I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of pounds of waste and plastic from these tampons and pads that go into our environment. Whereas like my cup will last me, like I said, a decade, if not more. And the fact that I can have that impact, I know at least here in Seattle, that matters to people.
Oh, yes.
So, like any other discomfort we go through for maybe the environment, this is, in my opinion, one of them. But it not only helps, but it's helping me, and it's helping my own health and my personal experience.
I think you even mentioned to me earlier that there are some well-known women that use the cup and proudly disclose that.
Yeah, I know that Cadence Cameron uses the menstrual cup. She loves it. I've read some articles of her talking about it. And I remember in my past, I believe Jennifer Aniston was a pretty big advocate for it as well. So there are people who are using it and love it. And I think that's great. I think it's making its comeback in the world very well. I think that I know a lot of friends actually that use it and have used it for a couple of years like me. So I think it's becoming more popular.
So to summarize it, I think you've brought up some really good points on why women should at least consider it. There's a lot of reasons why, cost, the environment issues, and the convenience of it also. Those are all really good. But you would just say, hey, think about it. And you did recommend 2 possible manufacturers that you felt were reputable.
Yes.
The Diva, and what was the second one?
I would say Diva and Flex.
And Flex, okay.
Yeah, I would say Flex. Check that out if you're a beginner, because like I said, I saw that hook, and I think that if you're learning how to do this, that's going to be helpful.
Okay. Yes, I would definitely do that as well. I remember first inserting a tampon, and it was so traumatic. So like anything else new, you just have to be patient and at least give it a good try in some time. Well, thank you again, Taylor, for joining us. I mean, that is just so interesting. I hope you all found this episode helpful, and I would like to encourage you, if you'd like to have more information about 3W, to go to the 3W website, which is, it's the number 3, it's the letter W, 3wmedical and then medical.org. And when you get to the website, if you would just go to the top menu, and you can click on the tab that talks about Wellness Wednesday, you will find all kinds of information related to the topics that we've been talking about here for the last 8 weeks. I think it's been about 8 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
Also, what you can do, if you have any questions for Dr. Sue, who is our medical director here and often a guest on this podcast, there's a place there where you can ask her a question, and we're collecting those questions now that in the next couple of weeks we'll have her on answering those questions. So please feel free to participate in that Ask Dr. Sue box there and just ask the questions that you would like. So I guess without any further ado, we'll draw this episode to a close. And again, I hope you found it helpful. And so until next time, stay healthy and be well.